Our typical weekly routine involves Pastor Mike leading us through a set of teachings from books of the Bible. And we'll be wrapping up the Prevail series soon. However, today is unique in that it's Encounter Sunday. It's a day we set aside a couple times a year to hear real-life stories of God working here and now through people in our midst. These stories remind us that God is alive and well and still working through people today. In life, at least pre-COVID, it was common for many of us to set a predictable course. We could choose a school with a good job placement rate. We could find a job that merged our skills with our income needs. We could network with people who could help us get a leg up on the competition. And it worked for many, didn't it? But now the scenario that I've just described sounds foreign. And we'll talk about life's disruptions in a bit, but for now, let's take the next few moments to give an offering of worship and praise to our God. 1 John reminds us that God is greater than the one who is in the world. So let's center our perspective on God, on His Spirit, and on His love. The best path forward is likely straight in front of us. We're equipped to handle a lot of day-to-day changes. We have decisions to make. We make slight adjustments to keep us on track. We even dig deep sometimes to power up for a challenge up ahead. These approaches usually get us through. We meet our goals and we often even find our destination. After all, Philippians 4 encourages us that with a humble approach, learning from our circumstances and leaning on the strength of God, we can find our purpose and even fulfillment in those ups and downs that come at us. But if only that was it. If only we could end there, smile and go home. We both know there's more to come. But as 2020 has taught us, and as I hinted at earlier, all of us have faced a disruption, a block of some kind, a seemingly insurmountable and unpredictable obstacle. It's important to recognize at this moment that for many, the pandemic was not their first disruption. Some voices are crying out lately to let the world know that their disruptions began long before the pandemic. And can I just say, it is critical that we listen and learn from these narratives. However you define disruption, it's likely pressured each of us with the unwelcome need to grapple with it, to wrestle with it. And depending on your experience of disruption, it's likely you've come face to face with the stages of grief, loss, fear, doubt, and at the very least, discomfort. James 1 reassures us there is hope in the trial, and that we can not only withstand the disruption, but that we may in some way be blessed as a result. And it's not a formula, it's a promise, really, closely tied to the path of love. Disruptions can be significant. They can uproot everything that we thought was stable. They threaten safety. They dismantle a structure or worldview that we have previously relied upon. Once we navigate or even survive the initial shock of disruption, we quickly gather our options and soon approach a new question, and that is, what's next? It is at this moment we are more likely ready to see God in a crisis. We encounter God here. This is when God works through those closest to us. Isaiah 41 states that the Lord our God will take hold of our hand and reassure us He is there to help us overcome our fears, to lead us to liberation, to redemption, or even just to plan B. This moment can prompt us to step forward in faith, and this can be the defining moment of our character and our influence. Our response to disruption just may determine the next path we take and will likely influence those around us. and it may just be used by God to grow His kingdom.